என் பேர் சதீஷ்.
My name is N. Prasanangadesan.
I'm 27-year-old.
I like science.
I like computers.
மியூசிக் ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
I don't like maths because it's very difficult.
எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச விளையாட்டு ரன்னிங் ரேஸ்.
When I grow up, I want to be a computer engineer.
I aim to become scientist in biology.
I have muscular dystrophy.
These are wonderful kids, and like every other kid in the world, they want to dream, be carefree, and enjoy the experience of life. Their parents, like every other parent, have their own dreams and expectations from their children. But for millions of families around the world, the diagnosis of muscular dystrophy changes the course of their lives dramatically. These families are caught unawares by total surprise by the diagnosis of muscular dystrophy.
He was born in 1990. Was a normal child only.
Both of them were normal in the initial stage. Like normal child, they were playing, they were gay and happy.
ஒரு 6 வயசு வரைக்கும் 2 பசங்களும் ரொம்ப நல்லா மற்ற பசங்கள் மாதிரி தான் இருந்தாங்க.
But after 1 year, the child doesn't walk. So we went to the doctor, we asked, no, normally male child will get delayed, he told. After 1.5 years, I think so, he started slightly lift up everything and he started walking.
இவன் பிறந்த போது இவன் வந்து ரொம்ப நல்லா ஆள் ரொம்ப இதுவாக இருப்பான், ரொம்ப வெயிட்டாக இருப்பான். அதனால இவன் சரியாக நடக்க முடியலன்னு நாங்கள் நினச்சிட்டு இருந்தோம்.
பிறந்ததுலேருந்து அப்படி அதே ஒல்லி தான், இன்னும் குண்டாகவே ஆகலை. அதனால் சரி ஒல்லியாக இருக்கிறதுனால வீக்காக இருக்கான், அப்பா ஒல்லியாக இருக்கிறான், பையன் ஒல்லியாக இருக்கிறதுனால ரொம்ப வீக்காக இருக்கான், நடக்க முடியல.
நாங்கள் வீட்டுக்கிட்டே நிறைய டாக்டர்ஸ் கிட்ட போய் கேட்டதுக்கு ஜஸ்ட் இவன் ரொம்ப குண்டாக இருக்கான், அதனால் இவனுக்கு வாக் பண்ண முடியல அப்படின்னு தான் சொன்னாங்க.
After 5 to 5.5 years, he needs some help to stand.
And by 6th year, my first son was finding it difficult to get up and walk also. And climbing staircase was also difficult. Somebody has to hold him. And by the time my second son attained that age, he was also having the same problems.
But now my second child also affected fully. So now he stopped walking from last week onwards. He is unable to walk without any support. Support also, he is walking only 500 meters to 600 meters only.
Most of these parents have never heard of muscular dystrophy until their children were diagnosed with it.
Dystrophy is the absence of protein in the muscles of the boy, patient. So whatever intake of proteins, it is not absorbed in the muscles. So in due course, the muscles are getting degenerated and stops functioning slowly. The limbs are become motionless, and for everything they have to depend on others.
There are several different kinds of muscular dystrophies, and they all relate to changes in different little parts and building blocks of muscle cells. And the type of muscular dystrophy that we are working with primarily right now and doing clinical research is a muscular dystrophy called Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
These children who are diagnosed to have muscular dystrophy are quite normal at birth, and they start walking maybe by about a year to 18 months of age like any other child, and appear to be progressing normally until they show symptoms of toe walking or having difficulty in getting up from the floor as they get older. Muscular dystrophy is a devastating disease which actually involves weakening of muscles all over the body as the child gets older and older. And by the time they get to about 9 or 10 years, they find it hard to walk, because of which they end up being on the wheelchair. Over a course of the next 3, 4, 5 years, the children slowly become weaker in their arms, find it harder to lift their hands and perform tasks like other children. Given few more years, they start getting problems with their heart because the heart muscles become weaker. They have difficulties with their breathing muscles because the chest muscles become weaker, and they also develop deformities or chest and spinal deformities because of the muscle imbalance or muscle weakness. The one of the biggest problems with why these children develop muscle weakness is because they lack a particular protein called dystrophin. This protein is made in the body, in all the cells of the body, due to the presence of a gene called dystrophin gene, and this gene is lacking in many of these children with muscular dystrophy, and therefore it's a genetic disease which is brought out in the form of weakness in the muscles due to the lack of production of a protein called dystrophin.
So far, muscular dystrophy had no treatment. Even in Europe, even in the US, nobody cured anyone. And for families and physicians alike, it was quite disappointing. Nowadays, we got several successes in terms of therapies based on three main approaches. The first approach is what we call gene therapy. That is, in lay terms, trying to fix up each gene which is faulty or defective. Now, the second approach is based on the so-called cell therapy. That is a therapy aimed at restoring to some extent the gene production of dystrophin, but by providing the muscle with new cells. Third approach is more classical in a way and is based on pharmacology, that is simple medications or medicines used in a traditional way.
And all of this is progressing sort of in tandem. There are people working on the curative gene therapy, there are people that are working on delivery techniques, and there are people that are working on pharmacologic drug therapies the way the Synergy Group is. And that's good, because while it seems like sort of this weird division and people are working on totally separate projects, what many of us think is that the total solution to this disease is going to involve not only a gene therapy approach, but probably some form of drug therapy thereafter.
The general message here is that as opposed to what we used to say to patients and to families years back, that was, well, Duchenne muscular dystrophy is incurable, and that was the case. There was nothing to do. This is no longer true. We do have reasons for hope. We do have compounds. We do have techniques. We do have experts, scientists, and clinicians willing to make things change. And my guess is that in the near future, that is in the 5 years to come and further, we'll probably have new drugs and new hopes for these kids.
What's very difficult about this disease is the fact that the child is very much aware of his disability, because the brain or the mind is not affected in this disease at all. And most children with muscular dystrophy are very intelligent, capable of attending normal schools, capable of learning, capable of writing exams, memorizing, and repeating whatever is taught to them.
ஸ்கூலில் போகும்போது his idea is different, his thinking is different. Keeping in a home, he cannot think anything about other than the TV. So வெளியில் அனுப்பணும்.
I think as far as the need for these families go, from what I understand from by having dealing with these families over the years, is that they want people to understand that their child is a normal child like any other child with a disability, and they want their child to be able to perform things, and even with the disability to overcome difficulties or disabilities and be able to attend normal schools, to be able to write their exams, to be able to do as many things as normal children would. And for that, the society has to be supportive.
Once in a way, we take this boy out in a car to see the places and people. to keep them happy. I have provided an assembled computer set for him to meddle. TV is the world for them.
94க்கு அப்புறம் பெரிய பையன் வெளியிலேயே போல சும்மா வெளியே அது ஒன்றுமே தெரியாது வீட்டுக்குள்ளேயே ஒரு 6 years ரொம்ப சஃபர் பண்ணினான்.
Now the school also requested him to not to send to regular school. Now I am searching for school also.
அப்போ வெளியில் போனாலும் கூட அவர் வந்து உட்கார வச்சு வெளியில் அப்படியே சும்மா பார்த்துட்டு வருவாங்க, மற்றபடி எங்கேயும் உன்னை இறக்கி கூட்டிகிட்டுலாம் போக முடியாது.
We in the society realize that this disease needs a lot of support from all of us. When I say support, I'm talking in terms of helping the children to remain in the normal schools by helping by bringing the classrooms down, for example, having ramps in public places. So we need to help to these families to live as normal a life as possible, like every other child would, rather than exclude them from the normal activities of day-to-day living.